everyone. You're tuned in to AFTERBUZZ TV's recap of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. We're talking all things Lamar, Madison Square Garden, and all that coming up in just a second.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
I love this beginning so much more.
Woo woo! Hey everyone, welcome back. We are season 12, episode 2, Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I believe it was a New York family affair. Before we jump into the episode, I wanted to say two things. First, happy Mother's Day for any mothers out there watching us. And I don't know about you guys, my mom's not in the same city as I am, so it kind of sucked. But so if you guys were around your moms, I hope you guys had a great day.
My mom flew in for Mother's Day, so
really?
it was awesome. Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. Cool. I was like, my mom's back in Jersey, so I was like, I mean, obviously.
FaceTime.
What did you call your moms? Did you call your moms?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
good.
we Snapchatted too.
Good.
Well, through my sister's Snapchat.
Cool.
Yeah. That's how I get to see her 300 miles away. Anyways, so that's that. Happy Mother's Day. And then second, I just wanted to go over, there has been some changes. I know everyone from last week did notice that we have Dakota and Justine here. And whoop whoop.
Thank you.
So I was out of the country. Bobby is still out of the country.
Damn.
Bobby will be back. Unfortunately, Sterling and Nick will not be joining us this season, but they send their love. They miss you. Just schedule-wise, it just didn't work out. So this is gonna be your panel.
I heard that everyone loves Bobby.
Yes.
Everyone does love Bobby.
What about you?
They just love Bobby.
So honestly, like, I knew, the thing is, I hope that everybody could just give us a chance. Me and Dakota, we came from the Cocktails with Chloe panel, so we know everything, like all Kardashians, so we're not coming in like not knowing anything. Like we really love the show, and yeah, I understand it's a new panel, you gotta get used to it, but we're good. We're here for you guys.
We're
I know
super
it was
excited.
First episode kind of side-blinded you. Is that a word? I don't know.
They're like, who are these people?
Yeah, there were some comments like, what? Like, where's the other panel at?
Yeah. Well, half of us are here. But yeah,
Yes.
it's going to be a great season. I watched your guys' last show. Great talks,
Thank
good
you,
stuff.
yeah.
So
Cool.
yeah, let's get into it. So I think the main thing really focused around, obviously, Madison Square Garden, but I think we kind of branched into like 3 little storylines. The first one, the main one being like all things encompassing Kanye's Yeezy Season 3 and his album release. Then we have a little bit of Scott and Kourtney, and then lastly, the most important thing is Lamar. So let's just talk Scott and Kourtney really fast. We start off the episode where she's in the car talking with her sisters or someone, and she's saying, can't he go find some other friends because he's mad that Scott and Tyga are like hanging out? Like,
I mean, you'd think that Tyga would realize, look, I need to watch what I'm doing because my actions are affecting this person's life. Scott's an addict, an alcoholic as well. And it's just for me, it's irresponsible of Tyga to just be like, you know what, screw all that. I'm going to still hang out with him. I'm going to take him on all these crazy parties. We're going to hang out. It'll be good. It's like, no, like you've got to realize that this is affecting someone's life. It's not just a party.
Yeah, I think
I was disappointed.
I'm surprised that he's hanging. I mean, actually, I'm not surprised he's hanging out with the partier. I mean, I feel like he just it's like a continuous cycle that like when I hear that this kind of stuff is going on, I don't know about you guys, but like it doesn't surprise me. At all.
But my thing actually is this is all on Scott. So I mean, if Tyga chooses to do that, I mean, as part of the family, because he is, part of the family, quote unquote, he should be kind of respectful about that, but it's not his responsibility. And so that was kind of frustrating with me because Kourtney wants to blow up at Tyga, and she even said, I shift blame onto everyone except Scott, when she really, well, actually, no, she shouldn't even have to say anything to Scott anymore. Yeah. That should be like, she shouldn't care.
I know.
I think it's hard because he's the mother. He's the mother
of their child.
Happy Mother's Day, Scott. Happy Mother's Day. He's the father of her kids, and it's like, yeah, you always want to give him the benefit of the doubt. You want to think he's gonna change, and it's like, I don't know. It's hard. I don't have kids. I don't have that problem or situation, but I mean, I can only imagine it's probably kind of hard.
Yeah, and it's difficult because you want Kourtney to be able to move on with her life and, go out and date other people and just kind of have totally shut off everything that's going on and just live her life. But because of the kids situation, it's just so much harder because they have to take all that into accountability when they're making these decisions. So she's like, I really want to cut him off. I just want to live my life and have a good time and move on. But she can't because she's always having to come back because of the kids. So I think it's responsible of her, and I love her for that. I think she's a great mother, but I hate that for her at the same time because it's like, you know, if you wouldn't have had kids with Scott, you could start your life over.
Or even after you had the first one, if you didn't have the second two, even though they're adorable.
I think it's crazy because so many women have this mentality that I think, you know, kids will change everything. Like, we're both having a kid, we're gonna love them.
Yeah.
And I think that instead of stopping, she kept trying to maybe make the relationship work because of the kids, and it's just never the case.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think Kourtney naturally is just like, I don't want to say she's born to be a mom, to say that she can't do anything else, but she's a great mom, and she like does it so well.
Do you remember
Happy Mother's Day?
Do you remember the episode in Miami, and everyone, all of her sisters was like, I can't imagine Kourtney having a kid. Like, she's so like, they're like, the kid will cry and be like, what are you crying about?
Like, seriously?
And look at her, like, 3 kids later, she's like, I love being a mom. And it's like, you never, I remember that episode. I was like, I can't imagine her being a mom.
Motherhood just changes people, you know? It can either be a good change or a bad change. But, you know, I think Khloe would be an incredible mom, and I want to see her be a mom. You know,
it's so cute when I hear her talking with, like, Penelope, especially Penelope. Like how they did today, like, sister.
Yeah.
Don't confuse her, but sister is so cute, right?
I feel like she'd be one of the best moms out of all of them.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh,
you know, something that surprised me is Kim is actually, like, just watching the episodes and hearing, you know, talk and everything. I feel like Kim is actually a really good mom.
I agree. I think motherhood did change her as well. I don't think it necessarily was her being, like, changing as a person. I think the social media in the last like couple years has really shifted a lot of things, and the Kardashians in general have just been the epitome of social media. So to come off of that social media high to be a mother, I think that transition was like perfect.
They don't go away. Their show has been on like nearly a decade.
Yeah.
Like that is insane to have a reality show go that long.
Because they're at season 12.
It's insane.
Yeah,
it's
season
crazy.
12. Crazy.
Yeah.
I remember,
and their spin-offs, all of that.
I remember seeing it's a preview of Kylie in a couple episodes, I think. Kylie saying, you know, I've never grown up not in the spotlight. I wonder what it would be like. And I think Khloe's like, you'd hate it. Like,
yeah.
Can you imagine?
They actually, I don't know, I don't want to spoil anything for anyone, but it looks like they all dress up in like some crazy costumes with a lot of like Khloe looks like she may be like 60 years old, and they like add a bunch of wrinkles onto her, and then Kendall's wearing like a red hair and like a big nose, and Kylie looks like she's like a geeky kind of band girl, and they all go on the Hollywood Stars tour.
Yeah,
I think that's hilarious, and I thought, I mean, can you imagine being on that thing and like,
can you imagine?
And like not knowing that the Kardashians and Jenners are just sitting next to you?
I think them, because I mean, if you guys follow them on Snapchat, you saw them snapping, because that's how I knew about it as well. I think I would have been like, what's going on over there?
Yeah.
But there's a film crew. Are they wondering why there's people filming these?
Maybe.
I think for that, didn't they go out? They did have a film crew?
Yeah, they had a camera guy in the front seat, but they could have easily been like, we're filming for a commercial for the Starline tour or whatever.
True.
So I mean, I think that they probably didn't notice, but I think it was funny. They're like, where do the Kardashians live? And then Khloe's like, the Kardashians. And I thought it was just great.
And like, people are filming these psycho people. I mean, you never know in Hollywood. So anyone that doesn't live in California, Hollywood's crazy.
Just Hollywood in particular. Just literally Hollywood Boulevard is Holly weird. It's just strange.
It is.
Nothing is unbelievable.
A lot of people are like, I want to live in Hollywood. They have this whole visual of it, of being like glamorous. I'm like, no, it's not.
It's like Scott. It's party.
Yeah, pretty much.
And if you can't control it,
tourists, people always drunk.
Yeah, it's
not my scene.
It can either be glamorous if you're like in the clubs and everything, or you go outside the clubs and on the street there's like people just doing crazy stuff out there.
Crazy people.
Crazy.
There was a guy that just started peeing on the side of the street.
Saw that
literally
today.
on the street, and I was like, oh, I don't really want to see it.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah. My parents are visiting, and we drove by today, and there was a guy who had his pants down, and he was scratching his butt. Like, his pants were all the way to his knees. And I was just like, what?
You could see full frontal?
Everything. Could see it all. But yeah, everyone has this grand view of like what Hollywood is. because they see what the Kardashians see, right, on TV. But literally, it is one of the strangest places I've ever visited in my entire life. Crazy stuff.
Very
Exactly.
strange.
And I think that's why the show does so well, because we look at them, or a lot of people look at them as these like mega superstars, and we see they have legitimate problems. Granted,
Yep.
they have a lot more first world problems than anyone else. They have legitimate problems. Really fast before I forget about Scott, Kourtney was getting upset with Kim because Kim invited Scott to all the stuff.
Yeah.
So she keeps just going back and forth. Like, we're saying she needs to just like move on, but how can she? Exact thing. She doesn't want Scott to be there, and so she's worked up about it. But then later she's like, "Oh, I don't care that Scott didn't show up." But
Yeah.
he didn't show up. He wasn't in the whole episode. He didn't come to the event. He didn't go to their dinners and everything like that. And it's just sad that
It
he's out
is,
there.
and he always leaves them high and dry because it happens all the time. And you know, in the
Yeah.
episode, the very beginning, Chris is talking with Kim. Yeah, I'm gonna hang out with Scott the whole time. I'm gonna take him out to dinner. I'm gonna take him to the club. Make sure he's, you know, his sobriety is still going good. And literally, he just goes like AWOL. Like,
Yep.
Absence without leave.
I'm
Like,
surprised.
Crazy.
I'm surprised that, you know, you'd think that he'd, like, any opportunity to get in front of the camera, he'd be about
right.
it. So I'm like, oh.
Yeah. It's so
I don't
sad.
know.
Maybe he was so messed up he wasn't even thinking about it.
Damn.
And,
Sad.
and Kim at the end said, you know, he needs to figure out on his own time. Except how long have we had this storyline going?
Yeah.
He hasn't figured it out in
Years.
at
It's
least
at least
a
in the
handful.
past 7 or 8, 9 seasons. It's
Literally,
going on.
since I remember he punched the mirror when Mason was a couple months old. Like, literally, it has been years. I don't know how old Mason is now.
He's probably like 5, maybe, I guess, or 4 or 5.
I feel like that was the only time I've ever seen the film crew of Keeping Up with Kardashians is whenever Scott punched that mirror.
Yeah.
Because you could hear them going, "Oh my gosh, what the heck?
Yeah.
Are you okay?" And like they were in the shot, like helping him and stuff. And it just kind of broke down the fourth wall for me, and I saw how many people they really have in the room, and the fact that they are just following them around every day, and we don't see them, but they're always there. Like, it must have taken something really crazy that Scott had done in order for them to, like, you know, come forward.
You know what I'd love to see? I don't know if you guys watch Teen Mom. I don't know if they're doing it this season, but I remember at least last season they had the camera crew like a part of it. So it would show, you know, like Macy getting upset or, you know, Farrah or anybody. And then them.
Farrah.
I know. And then them coming up to them and be like, listen, like, you know, whatever. And then Macy would be like, you could tell that they were close. And it was like, you almost were in the world of like being on the reality show. I would love for that to happen one season.
To see them
Yeah.
interact with it.
Because, I mean, what people don't realize is, you know, working in TV and film, they have craft services. They probably have like a camera, like seeing how the shots are looking and, you know, headphones, like a little panel. They don't realize that's happening back there. Like, it's like a legit show. You think, you just forget.
You forget. You think you're just literally like looking through their window, just watching them, you know, in their
Creep.
everyday life. I know,
I'm just kidding.
but you just feel like you're just sitting there, and then you forget. Oh yeah, this is like a show. This is like a thing. It's crazy. They do a great job of blending it all
Yeah.
and making it feel like you are a part of it, and that's what I love so much about the show.
A little tiny news and gossip, little tiny bit. I heard a friend that knows them said that they're all like really not nice to the crew. It's just a rumor, but you know. And that Kendall's the one that goes out and asks them like, oh, do you want like something to eat, whatever. I mean, like I said, you're always gonna hear different things, but that's just something I heard and I thought it was like interesting.
I know, right? Like we're sitting here judge, for example, like say Scott. We don't really know.
Yeah.
I love
really
Scott. I don't like the way he's acting, but he's just so funny.
is.
And he's hot. So I'm like, I really
Well,
love
when he's like when he's sober and he seems like he's being a good guy and wanting to hang out and
Yeah.
to feel accepted, I feel like that's when we really like him. And then I feel like the show so much shows his bad side, and so that's what we've only seen the past like couple seasons is just his bad side, and it sucks. And I feel like, you know, for him to really want help, he's gonna have to totally just cut everything negative out of his life, because he always holds on to those negative things and comes back to
Yeah.
them. He has to make like a complete cut off and just move on and then really cling on to his family. Otherwise, he's going to lose it all. I know we say that every year.
Yeah, all the
but
time.
It's going to happen. And it's happening right now. I mean, this is the first time Kourtney's really ever been like, you know what? We have
I'm
to.
done. Yeah. I'm actually kind of happy Scott wasn't in this episode because it allowed it to focus a lot more on Lamar. And and this was big because this is the first time he's. Well, I missed last week. I don't know if he was in the show, but this is the first time he's been in the show too. Okay, great. And when Kanye's thing at Madison Square Garden happened, I remembered that being such big news. And We talked about it last season. But yeah, so he's someone I'm hoping that is moved over that crazy stuff, and like he's doing therapy. Granted, that's probably more physical therapy and stuff like that, but hopefully he's not going to go back to like how like Scott reverts to everything.
He's been given a second chance. Like, his situation's a miracle. Like, he literally almost died. Like, that's insane. This sounds like really, really, really messed up, and I don't want this to happen to Scott, but I feel like if something like that happened to Scott, I wonder, like, having that experience, I wonder if it would change him, and like I feel like Lamar is like gonna live life to the fullest. Like, he almost died.
Yeah.
You know, like, I wonder if something like that happened to Scott. I'm curious if
Honestly,
what would happen.
I don't think it really is. I mean, I can't say this for sure, but Lamar really, from what I've heard, is kind of slipping back into his old ways, is from what Chloe has been posting on social media. And, obviously these episodes were filmed like at least 3 months in advance. So
Right.
From what I'm hearing now, it seems like even though Lamar has went through this whole crazy experience and went through all of the medical treatments and the therapy, it seems like he's slipping right back into it.
Well, one thing I noticed in this episode was when they were in the car ride after the show, Kourtney just started asking him a bunch of questions. And I know when you've gone through something crazy like that and people are just like, what was it like? Do you feel like you've changed? Do you feel like did you see Jesus? Like, all this, you don't want to talk about that. But did you not notice the whole entire time he was chewing his gum like a freaking cow?
They both, him and Chloe both were. They were like nervous as hell. Like, he was giving very vague answers.
He just literally looked uninterested. He did not care. Like,
yeah.
And like I said, I understand it could be coming from like, okay, this is too much. I don't want to talk about that yet.
Yeah.
Because literally, like you said, he was a second from death and he survived. And he survived like completely mobile, completely remembers everyone. So it seems like that's crazy intense. But he was just like, meh. And I could easily see him just reverting back to his old ways.
Yeah.
But except when they were on the plane, he kind of did break down a little bit. And, talked about it.
It seems like the plane ride there, it seemed like he was, talking with Chloe and being funny and stuff. And then on the ride back, he was a little bit more sentimental. But I feel like it's so sad because, addicts, they're so set in their ways and they're so, like, headstrong in a way that they just do not comprehend that they need to change. And it's just such a tough situation to be in. And I hate that. I feel like, they just need one good chance where they can really just think for one moment and be like,
right.
You know what, I need to make my life better. But they just seem like after a while, they're like, all right, well, I escaped death this time. Let's try it again. And it's so sad. It made me so sad when Chloe released those tweets saying, she's tried all she could, but she has to move on and live her life. And I hate that. Like,
I can't remember. Do you guys remember how long has he been struggling with drugs and stuff? Because I remember when there was the reality show, they were fine, and I was obsessed.
They seemed fine.
Yeah, you're right.
But Chloe even said in an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians that even while they were filming Chloe and Lamar, like the second season, he was cheating on her and she knew, and she had to pretend like everything was fine.
Wait, how many years ago was that again?
Oh, at least I want to say 4. Yeah.
Oh my, it's been that long?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they ever find out who he was cheating with?
There's been some
remember.
rumors. Like I remember seeing like a little thing, like a news article with like a picture of someone, but who knows if it was actually the person.
Yeah.
I know that
because they find
there's
out
been
everything
multiple-
usually. The media, like they'll be like, I don't know.
I just feel like unless you completely take yourself out of how you used to, like you're talking about addicts, you have to cut off everything. He's in the spotlight. He's in a family, quote unquote, again, that's constantly in the spotlight. He would literally have to move to like Alaska, deep in the tundra, to like change. Otherwise, it's just gonna keep happening. And especially with athletes or rappers or things like that are used to this lavish lifestyle, drugs, girls, and it comes so easy to them. It's just so
They have
easy for it
everything
to
at their
like
fingertips.
exactly.
And besides the Kardashians, because they live for like being on TV, a lot of times you hear people want to become famous, they want to be celebrities, and then the second that happens, I've heard this so many times, they feel so alone because it's like you have this you have everything changing and you're like, oh my God, everyone knows what I'm doing. You're not used to having no privacy. You feel alone, like nobody understands what it's like, what I'm going through. And so I feel like he's back in the spotlight. It's just gonna drive him even more insane. Reading rumors, hearing this, not being able to like recover, like and go do normal things. Like you said, he got to move to Alaska.
The tundra.
Yeah, I feel like he was doing a lot better whenever, you know, he was in, I think it was Las Vegas hospital and then was moved to, I think, Cedars-Sinai out here. And I feel like that time when he was in the hospital and then even going home a little bit, he was cut off from all of that. And, you know, they weren't having him on the show. They weren't having him go out into the public. And I feel like ever since the New York trip, he started going back out into the public places again, and that's when it started kind of like a downfall again. So I feel like you're right. He would have to move out somewhere, you know, where he's not in the media, because during that time he was recovering and he seemed like he was doing a lot better. And so it was really actually touching when we heard about how Kanye's music kind of saved him.
I know, that was real sweet.
That was so cute.
Little videos of Kanye rapping, you know, next to his, you know, hospital bed, and you see Lamar like trying to like, you know, comprehend what's happening, and I just thought that was so sweet, and it shows a side of Kanye that we really have never seen.
Exactly.
And I'm not a Kanye fan, so I was like, I think he's absolutely insane. But
I agree.
Yeah.
But like he I don't know. I like seeing that too.
It showed a very like sweet side of him, like that he's a human. He's not just this guy who
And he was
yells
smiling.
at paparazzi. Yeah.
It was so weird seeing him smile. I was like, what?
That's what I was gonna say about Kanye in this episode. It was nice to see him out of. I mean, we see his Twitter rants and we hear about how crazy he is and all the things that he does. But it's nice to see. You could see how passionate and happy he is when he's in his element.
Yeah.
While we might not understand his element, i.e. the fashion show, I still do not understand any of his seasons of Yeezy.
Yeah.
I like the shoes, the
shoes are
clothes.
great.
I'm like, I don't get it.
Overpriced.
Those poor models standing there for like an hour plus listening to the album. But he was so happy and passionate. And I like that they showed that with him with Lamar too, because he could bond. That's how he could relate.
His stuff is so overpriced. I see the money that these people spend and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But like really quick, how funny was when they were walking out, how tall Lamar was.
And Kanye's so little.
I thought that was.
I loved it.
I thought that was really touching though, that Kanye was like, you know what, you're gonna walk out with me. I thought that was so cool. It was like a brotherly thing, and also like I heard that Kanye actually said that his season 4 of Yeezy fashion line is actually going to be more affordable for like regular people to be able to.
Is it going to be more normal to
I don't
wear?
know. See, I actually like some of those. Like the first season was like a lot of really big sweatshirts that had tears in them and rips in them, and I actually liked that. And I was like, that'd be cool. And I checked the prices, and I was like, no,
That's
thanks.
not cool anymore.
No, yeah.
That's one thing about his line. It's like, or just in general, fashion designers. There's so much stuff that I'm like, who would wear that besides like celebrities that are just like trying to like look different?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fashion's like an interesting industry. It's a very creative. I've never been a big like fashion person, so I don't get a lot of things, but I understand like the craziness in your like someone creative. And I think, I mean, like, I don't know why he named his album The Life of Pablo, but the only thing I could think of was like Pablo Picasso.
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
crazy.
There was a couple of speculations.
Yeah. About that. But yeah. His stuff is crazy, but it was really sweet. They walked out together, and the whole crowd like cheered. I don't know if it was 100% for Lamar or also because it was Kanye coming out.
Seriously.
But nonetheless, everyone was emotional. Kylie was even crying. Caitlyn was crying. I almost said Bruce. Caitlyn was crying.
There was no booze. Like people could have been like, "Screw you, boo," and like.
Everyone was
so
very
nice.
supportive, and I love the fact that for the Yeezy Season 3 fashion show, it was at Madison Square Garden, and it was open to the public, because I don't think that's ever really been done before.
Right, that's the first time.
In the giant like spectrum that they did this huge thing in, and I love that, and I thought it was very interesting to see, you know, something that's usually a smaller thing was on such a large scale. Even if, you know, some people didn't like the clothes and stuff, it was you can't deny the fact that it was creative and that it was something that had never been done before, which I you know, commend him for that. That was really cool.
I like seeing Kim being happy about what Kanye does, because I feel like they do very like support each other very much. So that I think that's really cute too. Even though she was so self-conscious about what she looked like 2 months postpartum. Did you hear? She's like, I don't want to show my knees.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
I'm like, what?
Your knees.
Knees? That's random. Like, I
So
don't
let's
know.
like throw a huge fur shawl and make you look even bigger. Like, what?
I wish I could walk around in fur coats like that. Just be fabulous.
You know what? I actually really enjoyed whenever she was in that the whole trip. I kept seeing paparazzi photos on Twitter. I love that she was wearing the big coats. I love that one night when she was wearing like the blonde wig and she had the baseball cap on.
Yeah.
I was like, that is cool. Like, oh,
Cute.
loved it.
I have a few fur things, but it's like fox fur. One, I can't afford it, like real fur, and two, it's like, you know, people like freak out about all that crap. So
Yeah,
it's like,
seriously.
just do fox fur. It'll save you some drama.
Whenever I met Kim, she literally, I met her twice, and the first time was at the Barnes & Noble, and she was trying to be nice and greet all of her fans, and she had people showing up to pretending to be fans and then getting up right up in front of her and pulling out these signs and saying, "You're a murderer."
Oh my God.
Like 5 innocent animals for 1 fur coat or something like that, and was yelling at her and screaming, and security was just like pulling them away, and they would literally just scream all the way until they exited. It was crazy. And I feel bad because it's like, you know, I do feel bad that, you know, she has to wear fur, you know, all the animals that were killed. That is very sad. But at the same time, for someone to go up and just yell at her in her face, like, that was overwhelming for me. I was like just trying to meet Kim Kardashian, and I had all these people like rioting.
Right.
You know, it's everything she does is put on such a huge scale, and it's just like, you know, normal people, they wouldn't go up to them and flower bomb them or yell at them for this or that. But celebrities, they just get so much hate for that. It's crazy.
They get so much hate for everything. I was looking at this, just speaking of hate, I was looking at, there was some meme and it was just talking about Meghan Trainor, and they were like, it shows that she's like really thin lips. And there were people like, God, where's her lips? Like, she has no lips. She needs to get her lips done. Like, ew, look at her lips. But then if you see someone with lip injections, it's like
Kylie.
It's like, oh my God, ew, your lips are big. You look so much better natural, even though she had literally no lips. Like, I think like you get used to it when you're famous to be like, oh, whatever. But like, I feel like when you're first starting out, like that's, you can't win. Like, I was holding my head. I was like, wait, like.
Either way, you're
What?
screwed. Yeah, either way. Whether you do something, you get something done. If you don't get something done, and everyone yells at you, and it's like, you know, you come with your own body. Like, you can't help it if you don't have a butt or like lips or whatever. It's a sad deal.
I couldn't do it. They deal with a lot.
Yeah.
And Meghan stayed true to herself, didn't get lip injections, and people were giving her so much shit about it. And I'm like, okay, watch her get lip injections. You look so much better before, you're fake. It's like, you just can't win. You literally can't win. People are brutal.
Very brutal. Brutal.
Brutal.
I mean, we saw that with Kylie, and that's why she was so self-conscious about it.
She looks so much, whether it's fake or not, like, she looks so good now. I think she looks better now.
I just feel bad for Kylie because people always compare her to pictures of her when she was like a dorky little 10, 11, 12-year-old.
Like, so
we
young.
all looked so crazy
You should see
different
photos of
from
me
when we
at
were
10.
little.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you guys after. There's this photo of me when I was like 13. Oh my God, it's so funny.
The glow up is real, guys.
Exactly.
And makeup's changed so much. I'm a makeup artist, so like, I look back and I'm like, you know, these trends also weren't in. These trends that makes your face, you can make your face like look more thin, and having your lips done and your brows, like, you know, totally shaping your face. It wasn't like that before. So of course she's gonna look different.
Exactly.
Like,
It's like apples and oranges. They're fruits, but they're not the same. And if you think apples and oranges are the same, we have problems.
Yeah.
Lastly, before we get into some news and gossip, how awkward was that with Khloe and Caitlyn? I guess that's coming from the last episode.
yeah.
But I thought it was gonna blow over. They were doing pretty fine during the whole Yeezy event. They were making sure like this is about Kanye, so let's not do that or focus on Lamar. But that dinner at the end after everything, where Caitlyn, what did Caitlyn say? She's like, "Oh
all
yeah,
water.
we need to talk to. I need to talk to you." And it was just like Lamar sitting there like, "This is weird."
Yeah.
Also, do I call him Bruce or do I call her Caitlyn?
Yeah.
Awkward.
It
I
was very
feel like
awkward.
personally, I don't. Caitlyn is completely different than Bruce, and like, you know, before she transferred, before she
Transferred schools.
Yeah.
before she, you know, became Caitlyn, you know, Bruce was always like, I'm always gonna be Bruce. I'm never gonna go anywhere. And like, I don't know how you guys feel. I personally feel like like Bruce has changed, like becoming Caitlyn so much. And obviously you're gonna change. Obviously you're gonna be a woman now. You're gonna be different. But I mean, I think she is so like sassy and like as Bruce, I don't think he would have ever talked to Chloe like that. Like
Bruce was so much more laid back.
And he raised her, and I was like, I just don't. I don't know if I'm liking. What do you guys? I don't know if I'm liking this Caitlyn.
I mean, I think she was definitely laid back before transitioning, but I think she was also very suppressed.
True, very
and like
true.
so angry inside. We always saw that every time Bruce was on. He'd be all like angry and quiet, but then now I think.
He's just letting it all out.
Caitlyn is
the diva out.
so like not used to being able to be her true self, that she's just doing everything and living loud and carelessly sometimes, not knowing what she's doing because she's just so excited that she's out in the open. So it's almost like like once you give a child a little bit of freedom, you give them an inch and they take a mile. I feel like that's what Caitlyn's going through right now. It's like she's like a little kid in a candy shop. She's not used to being able to wear makeup and have boobs and all this crazy stuff.
Oh,
and
very true.
I think that she honestly may rein it back one of these days, but I think right now it's all so new and fresh that she's just
testing the waters, seeing what
Exactly, I agree. But she did still make it awkward.
Yeah.
Nonetheless.
Really awkward.
But I'm glad it seems like at the end when Chloe says like, Caitlyn's my family, like we're gonna have ups and downs, but we're
always gonna be
always
family.
gonna be.
How do you guys feel that, kind of like ending this topic, how do you guys feel that Chris has handled just everything? Like, what do you guys think about that?
I think she's handled everything very well, considering her husband, turned into a woman. Like, I don't know about you guys, but if I was Chris, I would be. I mean, she obviously went through a hard time, but she always takes negative things and just turns them into a positive thing and tries to move on with life. And she's honestly an amazing woman because of the fact that she bounces back so quick from things, And I respect her for that. I think that she is definitely one of those people who really knows how to move on and make the best out of situations.
True. I don't really know because I've forgotten already from the past seasons, but I do agree she's a momager too, so she already knows how to handle emotions and doing a million different things at once. So I think so far she's handled it well.
Yeah, I would feel like the past 20-something years was a lie. That's how I would feel. I'd be like, so you really loved me? Like, I know that Caitlyn has said something about Kylie and Kendall being a distraction, and I would honestly, I would be like, oh my God, these past 20 years, like, I don't know, that's hard. I would be literally, I'd be devastated. She's handling it pretty good.
She is, at least in the public eye, as we see.
Yeah, I'm sure off camera she's probably, obviously broken down so many times, but every time she's been in front of a camera, she's put on a good face and tried to deal with it the best she could, and I commend her for that because it would be tough.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy stuff.
Crazy stuff. Moms are crazy.
Yeah.
So let's get into some news and gossip.
AfterBuzz
Scared me. It happened so fast.
And speaking of Mother's Day, I think we have a picture to help bring in this news that I'm sure everyone has heard about.
Yes.
Black
likes is that?
China. 50 bazillion. I'm just kidding. It's
Yeah.
like
This is tiny
Almost-
writing. If I can read that, I passed the test.
Yes.
170-some thousand. I could be wrong. I don't know.
yeah, it's like almost 300,000 likes on
God.
Rob Kardashian's Instagram. Posted an emoji type picture of Black China having her baby bump.
Yep.
The first thing I thought of Kim's emojis. So I don't know. It feels like, I don't know if she's really pregnant or not. Has anyone seen any kind of like belly bumps though?
Yeah, they just photographed her the other day with kind of a small belly bump. But she's announced it. He's announced it. Keeping Up with the Kardashians fan pages announced it. They like went live on E!
Oh, wow.
And like told everyone.
God.
And this is actually, Amber Rose is always involved somehow. Amber Rose came out with an emoji line called Mauve emoji.
She's so hot. Sorry.
And so I think this is the new emoji that they're adding to Amber Rose's line. Yeah.
They're just, it's just so confusing. I think I think Dakota, you said you're gonna talk about the web that it creates, right?
Yeah. The next photo we have is this ginormous web of craziness between Black China and Rob.
What is that?
And it says, like Rob and China, and then it says Rob is basically a dad to the new baby Kardashian.
Did you make this?
No.
Oh.
And then Kylie is like some kind of an aunt to this child, but Tyga's stepmom. I don't know. It's crazy.
It's just, it's just
This
so
whole
weird.
family
Yeah.
is just. Do you think that the drama's over and it's just
Just
Yeah.
keeps on. Like, who would have thought? Who would have thought Rob would have come out of like hiding, and then now he's having a baby with Tyga's baby mama and all that. And this is gonna be the first Kardashian name
Yeah.
to
Yup.
continue.
I honestly hope it's a boy because I think that would be so cool to be able to, carry on the Kardashian name. Otherwise, it's gonna if they only have a a girl, then the Kardashian name kind of stops because he's the only.
Oh yeah, because of Disick, Mason's Disick.
Yeah.
You're right.
So.
Yeah.
But speaking of
a big
Bump,
deal.
speaking of Bump, have you seen there's a video of the Jesus, I can't talk tonight. Black China's ass bump, she's literally shaking it in front of the camera. Rob's holding it. It is huge.
Rob's holding it.
Oh, holding the phone. It's huge.
Okay.
No, it's weird. I was like,
What is that? That's crazy. Well, the next photo we have is Kim and Kanye in Cuba, which this was Saint West's first public appearance
look
where
at
they have
them.
paparazzi shots of him with his face shown. So this is Kanye holding Saint. Saint is adorable, and then there's obviously Kim and North as well. But what did you think of their whole Cuba?
So
Trip.
I actually lived in Cuba.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
So I get very nostalgic and sentimental when Americans go to Cuba. I get very it's been a long time since I've been there, so it's a little bitter. And so somehow I saw something and I was like, oh my God, what? And I went to Kourtney's page and saw the pictures and I kind of got mad.
Really?
Because
Are you
again,
from Cuba?
No, I'm not from there, but I get very biased because it's so not Americanized, and I want to keep remembering it, even though they have their social and government issues. But I want to remember it all pretty, and they're doing all the touristy things like driving around in the cars and going to see this place and this place, and I was just like, I don't want more people to follow and just get this like
touristy thing where they take away from the
Vision,
actual. Yeah.
But I think that's cool. I think that's really cool that they gotta go. I do think that, but it's like bittersweet. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chloe and Malik. I think Malika may have gone. I don't know, but they were all smoking the cigars and doing all the typical things. But the last photo that I have is an orchestra that showed up to Kim's house this morning.
This morning?
Yeah, to
you're
play.
good with this.
I know, wow.
Gossip.
To basically for Mother's
Are you
Day.
a paparazzi?
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
I took this photo. I'm just kidding.
Wait, I don't-
This is from Kim's Snapchat. Orchestra showed up to her house this morning. Kanye brought them in for Mother's Day, and they were playing this beautiful song for, Kim on Mother's Day, and it just shows Kim on the balcony, and she's holding North while all this is
see.
happening. And
Yeah, I can see it.
they've got so many instruments.
That sounds
and
very sweet.
It was absolutely adorable, and I love that Kanye can do these elaborate, beautiful things to show that he appreciates Kim, and he obviously appreciates her a lot. And shows it, and I just feel like he truly does love her. With all the craziness that goes on, you can
Right.
tell he cares about her for sure.
Agree.
News and gossip. I heard he's bi.
What?
Yep.
I've heard so many things about.
I honestly and I'm gonna add to another little news and gossip. It keeps sounding fake, like my friend, but I do have a friend that went to elementary school with Kylie and said she was like the biggest nerd, not cool in high school, no, not cool in elementary school. Then when the whole sex tape thing came out, I mean, because of her family, she became more cool. I heard Chris is a total bitch. She wouldn't go, because remember Bruce was the one that would drop them off at he was the carpool dad.
Yeah.
If they weren't rich or lived in a certain area, I heard she'd be like, I'm not driving them to a peasant's house.
Oh my gosh.
So he said they're all pretty nice, but supposedly she is just off for the money. She's such a bitch. To be honest with you, I totally believe it.
Oh my god.
100%.
People are gonna rip you apart in the comment section. But
Why? How do you not see that with her?
I don't know. I mean, we see just what the
Yeah,
camera shows
exactly.
us, but from what I've seen, Chris is obviously very tough on her kids, and make sure that they do this and that. And she is more higher up on the totem pole, where she thinks she obviously is better than some others. But I don't know if I can see her being a total.
Yeah, I everyone has their bad days.
Yeah.
Some people
I
see
know.
the bad days.
Well, that's the thing. I'm not trying to be this is true. It's news and gossip.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
gossip, and you can rip me apart in it, but I'm not trying to convince everyone
Right,
or
right,
it's
right.
literally my opinion. I mean, I hope she's not like that.
Yeah.
So
You guys will learn that I'm a complete defender of Kardashians at all costs. Usually,
Same.
I love all of them. I'm just not a fan of Kris and Kanye.
See,
that's it. I love all of them.
Yeah.
Just those two I'm not very happy with. But, like, I love the rest of them, so don't give me crap. I really do like the rest of them.
It's so funny because literally anytime I'm in public or anything, so, oh, the Kardashians, I'm like, excuse me, what'd you say? Like, I defend them. I love them so much. I think they're a hilarious family. I love to watch every week.
I see myself getting bitter sometimes, but then I have to remind myself it's because I'm jealous of their life. Like, I'm literally jealous of their lifestyle. Like, at least I'm honest. People are like, oh, I hate them and they're jealous, but they won't admit they're jealous. I'm admitting I'm pretty jealous of their life. Admitting it.
Do we have any more news and gossip before we go? Or really quick, I guess, any predictions real quick?
AfterBuzz TV
Damn,
predictions.
they're like ready with the
They're ready.
They are. What do you think?
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna see a lot more of Lamar this season. A lot more.
I think for at least the next like 3 or 4 episodes, I feel like we will before Chloe and Lamar had their falling out again. But I feel like we will see more of him, and I hope that it's all just news and gossip and that he actually is taking his life more seriously. And obviously we see this continuous thing with Scott. He's always getting better, then getting worse, getting better, getting worse. I just want to see an end to it. I just want to see him happy.
We'll never see an end to it.
I feel like no.
I'm actually really excited we're going to start seeing Rob again.
Yeah.
Though it's kind of crazy because it involves Black China and, but Bobby loves Rob too.
Yeah.
So I know he's going to be really excited to start talking about Rob again because he literally came out of a black hole cave.
Yeah.
We got hate last week because we're like, oh my God, her name's gonna be Black Kardashian. Like, what's her name? And they're like, it's her stripper name. I'm like,
and
shit.
we knew that.
But I don't know much about her. No, so.
I mean, I knew her name wasn't Black China.
I didn't know that.
But I just knew
I had
that.
no idea.
I mean, she's not gonna go by Angela, obviously. Like, I don't know.
Black
Anyway.
Kardashian.
I had no idea.
That's hilarious.
I mean, honestly, I feel like she came out of literally nowhere.
Yeah.
So
She
I'm sorry
did.
I'm not like up to date with Black China.
She's gonna probably go by Black China Kardashian, honestly. I mean, she's not gonna all of a sudden now that she's gonna get married go
Let's
back
not
to
talk
Angela.
about them getting. Oh wait, they're already engaged. Okay.
They're
anyways,
engaged.
I don't even want to think about it yet. We forgot to do this in the beginning because I wanted to make sure we talked about the new panel. But everyone, tell us your Twitter handles, Instagram.
Yes.
Where can we follow you? Where can we find you?
So you can find me on Instagram at Let's Face It with Justine and YouTube at Let's Face It with Justine. I do like makeup and beauty and DIYs and stuff. So definitely follow me there if you're into that kind of stuff. And you can tweet me on Twitter at Justine DiVanna 3. I was like, what is it? I forgot for a second.
And you guys can find me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, everything at Mr. Dakota T. Jones.
Oh shit, wrong one.
Can't forget the T. And then Snapchat at Crazy Coda.
Crazy Coda.
Yeah.
And you can find me at
cray
Black
cray.
Kardashian. No, I'm just kidding. Twitter, Instagram, XOXOCESCA. Thanks for hanging out with us. Bobby still won't be here next week, so it'll be the 3 of us again. Bobby will be back soon. See you next week.
Yay! Bye, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.